Riffin' with Christina.
The numbers all go to 11.
We're here with Ben Weinman from Dillinger Escape Plan. How are you, Ben?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. It's, it's early in the morning and we're embracing it. It's good. I believe in lack of time. So what have you been working on as of late?
Well, finishing a Dillinger record. So I've been in the dungeon quite a bit and finishing the final touches on this GTO record, which is this other project I've been working on.
Giraffe Tongue Orchestra.
That's right.
So what's the cape like with the Dillinger record? Like, what are you kind of looking to do here?
It's like, I always say this, it's a hard question, especially, I always feel like I understand the Dillinger records a year after we've toured on them.
They suddenly just make sense?
Yeah, because it's like, David Lee Roth always said, like, it takes you, 3 years of touring and this and that, whatever, to write your record, and then 5 minutes to actually just put it down or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of building in your
like
head sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like, I always think I'm just going in, I got to make another Dillinger record. All right, here we go. How am I going to do this? I don't even know if I have any more in me,
Yeah.
And then I get started and just start playing around, being creative, throwing things against the wall. And then I start to get excited by an idea, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can make another one. And then, I start pushing it. Then I get bored with it, and we start making it weirder, and then we go farther, and then we go. And then all of a sudden, there's the whole record, and I'm like, I have no idea how I got there. And and it's really interesting, too, because, it's a twofold process. It's like, the music is pretty much completely made, and then Greg comes in and does all his thing, which is a whole other thing, So it's like me and Greg are kind of working creatively on these things in our own spaces, and when we come together, it's when it really turns into Dillinger.
Yeah.
And
like alchemy.
So it's like, so he's living out on the different coast. I'm in the East Coast, he's on the West Coast, and he's going through his own things. I'm going through my own things.
Yeah, he's made Depeche Mode kind of 80s pop music. I don't know. Maybe that, yeah. Well, I was listening to the Black Queen stuff earlier, and then I think it fell down this Pussifer kind of YouTube thing, which is kind of weird, but kind of worked. I was like, well, thanks, YouTube. Yeah, that kind of works together. It's good. I've been thinking about, with creativity and confidence and stuff, that almost the act of going, well, I'm writing an album, you kind of draw stuff to you.
It's funny, I'm very into, the spirituality or the energy that makes synergy and all kinds of things happen. And I'm not a religious person, but I do feel like energy brings energy. Positive energy brings positive things. And that's a common thing that people talk about. But, I always find I can't figure out where I stand as far as, talking about something makes it happen or talking about something makes it not happen.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like...
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot going on that we can't really ever understand, but I'm kind of cool with it. If you're ultimately kind of trying to be a decent person and try and deliver on shit, So have you kind of done most of the Dillinger stuff already? You and Greg, have you done your bits and pieces?
Yeah, well, no, honestly, Greg is, the last stage, usually.
So you're still in the kind of...
Yeah, so, we have a complete, instrumental Dillinger record done.
That's pretty fun.
And I'm just going through doing my bells and whistles. I never...
Da-da. Yeah.
Yeah, I always go through and do little orchestrations, electronics, and sound design and things like that. So it's always a many-tiered, process for me.
How many layers?
It starts with no rule. It could be something on piano, something on a guitar, or something at the Billy. It starts jamming on a drum beat, and then it's could be, the spark of an idea. There's no rule for that.
That's pretty fun.
But eventually what happens is our drummer, Billy, and I sketch out some skeletons and record in my studio, start putting ideas down, listening back. Energy is really important to us, so it needs to feel right, as a live entity. So it's not the type of thing where we're just using technology to piece things together. Like, we're really playing in a room, making sure it feels right.
Yeah.
And then often we'll put it into the computer and say, all right, now, maybe we should shorten this a little bit or this or that or whatever. And then the demo process gets a little more involved. Then I say, Billy, leave, and I sit down.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I'm like, go have a life, and then I start working on it even more in depth and start, creating guitar layers and different parts. And then we go back and redress it. Then then I'll start putting more things down, maybe synths or other things. And then last but not least, like Liam will play bass on it. Typically he's at home demoing to my demos. So I'll send we work a lot remotely. All of us in different places. Dropbox has become a really valuable tool for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every now and again, they'll just get an alert and it'll be like, bing, and there's a new song in a box,
That's kind of fun. It's a fun, yeah. Is it like dark? Is it like upbeat? Is it like a Larry David rock opera? Like, I was thinking it'd be really good if they did make a Larry David rock opera, like where the music was really dense and then like he came in and he sung really, really badly. Or he had like an amazing voice, Maybe.
You never know.
You never know.
I have to say that this phenomenon of Larry David, like, everybody loves Curb and everybody loves Larry.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of humor is something that I didn't think, I thought only Jews from New York could get that. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
To see that, that the world gets it, it's really exciting for me.
Yeah, well, it's good. I like him. He's, he's my spirit animal. Like,
I just relate to him when he says, when somebody cancels on me, that's doing me a favor.
Yeah.
I relate to that. Like, most of the time, I don't want to leave the house and I don't want to go out.
I feel you on this. It's like like when you get into the habit of actually making things in your head real, that ends up being more exciting than anything else. Like,
absolutely.
Is it like a dark album? Have you made is it a polka record?
I think it's heavy, man.
Cool.
It's
that's fun.
I mean, it's super heavy. It's definitely dark. But I think it's weirder than maybe our last record.
Cool. It's good
like
to
really
get weird.
There's like ideas, riffs that just are so weird. Like they're just. I don't know. I have to say, when I hear it, I'm proud to say that nobody sounds like Dillinger. Really,
it's pretty much true. Yeah.
It may be the worst. We may be the worst band in the world, but when I listen to it, I'm like, I really don't think anybody would ever write a riff like this, and that's, I guess, what I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. That's what we try to be. A band that stands out. I think one of my favorite things I've ever read, or proudest moments, was I was reading an interview with somebody who was a music journalist who had asked his little cousin, who was like 12, like what bands he likes, and he said, I don't know, I just like songs, like on playlists. He's like, I don't even know the bands, I just like have a playlist and like a bunch of like metalcore songs, I don't even know who they are. And he's like, oh no, but I like that band Dillinger Escape Plan. To be the band that in a playlist of like, nameless kind of personality-less songs, to be the band he actually knew that was different, that had a sound that was like, when he heard it, he's like, oh, I know who this is. I guess that's all we ever wanted to be,
Like, it's a good name. I mean, I think asking about the name of a band is kind of lame, but do you remember like the first day you came up with it? And,
Absolutely, yeah. I remember it very vividly.
Go on.
Yeah, we really had no interest in like promoting ourselves. Like, I had personally given up on music, like, as a career. I was in school, and my high school bands and stuff just failed. Nobody cared about them. Running around trying to sell tickets to your family members just to like be able to play a show is like getting old. So we started the band just to create some kind of alternative for what was out there. We wanted to hear music like this, so we just said, let's make it. We didn't have a name. We had no intentions of like appealing, like appealing to a certain crowd or audience or fan base. So the only reason we even got a name is because a friend of ours was like, will you play my show? Like, I'm renting out this little venue. I'm getting a bunch of my friends' bands to play. Will you guys play? We're like, yeah, we want to play. And he's like, oh, okay. So then, like, a week later, he's like, what's the name? We're like, we don't have one. He's like, you need a name for the flyer. We're like, we don't have one.
You can't just not have a name.
We didn't have a name. We just didn't care. It wasn't really...
Yeah.
We just wanted to make songs.
You're like the opposite of now, where people are like, I'm a brand, but, like, I don't mean anything. You know? Like,
we had no plan. We were just like, we're making music. This isn't like... And at the time... it was funny because all the bands that we were into and that were in the scene and stuff had like these one-word names. It was like Coalesce. Yeah, it was like, it was like
Coalesce.
These bands that were from our team, Endeavor, and just really, really, indecision, or maybe two names like Dead Guy, Earth Crisis, or Snapcase, or something. 2 syllables was as much as they got.
Yeah.
But so. And there was a John Dillinger documentary on TV, and they were just talking about how he had all these amazing escapes from jail. And somebody in the room, I don't even think it was a band member, was like, the Dillinger Escape Plan. And
that's pretty good.
I don't even know if he was like, the Dillinger Escape Plan, or, he was referring to the show. And I think we were just like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
I think that's the best way to name shit. Don't think about it. If it arrives, then it's the right time.
Yeah. And everyone was like, it's too long, I can't remember it. It's like complex. It's like, it's not catchy,
Ta-da!
Like, whatever. Yeah, like.
Well, it worked out.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's resonant, People have a relationship with it. It's like, it's funny what bands do kind of sink in, I guess. I was talking to the guy from Out the Gates, and like they came back from 19 years apart, and people are still really excited, and he's just like, fuck, it's really cool. It's like really exciting for us, and we didn't necessarily expect that, and they all have day jobs. Like, he's a sociology teacher, and they're like, we like to have music in one kind of part and work is another part, so we never are doing anything for money, and it actually becomes like quite a separate thing. And I think it's kind of an interesting way of doing it. It's kind of like the opposite of like the glam bands in Decline of Western Civilization, like, we're gonna win and we're gonna sit on a big pile of money and just do coke on bitches all day. And it's like, I kind of like that it's like, no, this is kind of a pure practice that we don't even want to kind of complicate with it being tied to our livelihood. The flip of that is, I think, when it's your livelihood, you don't have to do something else, and sometimes that's the right thing for you. Like,
right.
Yeah. Like,
well, I mean, for me, I was working. I was in school. I had gotten a degree already. I was already starting a master's. I was like working a corporate job and doing Dillinger. People find it hard to believe that because, like, we've been around so long, and then when they do the math, they're like, you must be 80. Like, how did you do all that before Dillinger? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, we weren't trying to make music with the intention of creating some kind of income, obviously, by the sound of our music. It wasn't like, at the time.
Going for radio, man.
It was like 90s, it was like, we started in 97, so ultimately, if we wanted to make money, all we had to do was write a song that sounded like Korn, or like, you know what I mean, which would have been a lot easier than the music we were writing, And at that time, it was possible to be in a heavy kind of band and living in New York, and and having access to. Yeah, it wasn't out of the question to like kind of sign a deal and like try and sign to a major and try to make a rap metal band or something, but that wasn't.
It wasn't.
All that sucked. I fucking hated it. Like, to me, I came up. Heavy music was like the most extreme shit ever. And by the time I'd already listened to every satanic, crazy, deicide, fucking extreme death metal band like 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
By the time nu metal happened, even so.
Like, this is weak shit.
You know, by that time, I was already bored. I was listening to fusion and avant-garde, like fusion and jazz and like complex electronic music. So, you know, I think that had just as much of an influence on Dillinger as anything else. And so, yeah, we had no intentions of making a career out of it, and it just kind of happened, you know.
Which is nice. What was kind of the first like sign that it was becoming a thing?
It was kind of really like it chose us. Like I was working and I'd have to take off constantly. It started just the opportunities started coming in, and I think, you know, the first sign that it was really happening was we got a tour with Mr. Bungle.
That's pretty fun.
Which was like one of my favorite bands, and I was a huge Mike Patton fan. And so we had just done an EP, and we had just finished our first record, Calculating Infinity, and Patton asked us to come on tour with Mr. Bungle. So that was like almost like a 2-month full United States run with those guys, and what at that time felt like very legitimate big clubs, you know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, all right, it's going to be hard to continue, like, telling my job I can't come in. But
I'm not going to be here for 2 months, yeah. That'd be like a nice shiny jewel, because I feel like, I don't know, like, I can kind of imagine, because you kind of look at Mr. Bungle fans and they'd be kind of your audience as well. Like, I would imagine you'd want them as your audience. Like, and they'd be hard,
definitely.
But kind of satisfying if you won them over.
I mean, it was hard. It was hard because at that time, our music was like 100%, all of it was just really, really, really extreme and weird. And so even a Mr. Bungle fan, we sounded like just pterodactyls screaming through, you know, a distortion. And I remember those guys had, we were playing like, you know, it wasn't like massive places. Like, it was big to me, but like, the stages weren't massive, you know, and they had like a full percussionist, like with like every percussion instrument mic. They had like the drum set, they had keyboards, saxophone, blah blah. So like, not only was there not even any room for us to like fit on stage, we were literally playing on the edge of the stage, like the edge, like falling off the edge of the stage. But there wasn't sometimes even like inputs for our instruments left. So we were playing like fairly large places with maybe like sometimes just a microphone
and a triangle,
like a kick drum,
yeah.
So, you know, it sounded horrible. Just that, you know. But ultimately we got through it, and we ended up then doing the EP with Mike. After that, so yeah, we kind of a lot of the fans, we had a lot of crossover fans at that point. So nice.
Do you still stay in touch with him?
Yeah, I talked to him last night, actually.
Oh, really? What's he doing? Random? Why not? You know? I mean,
I don't know.
being Mike Patton, just...
Mike Patton, probably just being debonair and interesting, you know?
It's just standard. That's funny, though.
Yeah.
It's funny how you can kind of, when you kind of, I guess, click and stuff, you can kind of stay in contact with people for long periods of time.
Yeah, you know, I guess the biggest, you know, being such a fan of his, I guess maybe the biggest honor is just that he doesn't think I'm a retard, you know. He's very critical about what he likes and what he spends his time on and stuff. So, you know, I'm very happy that he's respected me and my stuff and has been kind of a mentor sometimes, you know.
That's cool. What has he kind of taught you? What's like a good lesson thing?
There's only 2 reasons to sign to a record label. And no, he said there's only 1 reason to sign to a record label: tons of money. Otherwise, fuck them all.
Yeah. Well, they just did that whole album like completely independently, didn't they? I like that they made a song called Motherfucker. Okay, so Giraffe Tongue Orchestra. Brent seems like an interesting character.
To say the least, yeah.
Well, I bumped into him at a festival and I'm like, how are you going? He's like, hi, I'm William Shatner. And then he kind of floated away and I'm like, okay, he's on his own trip, you know?
I
like that.
Him, man. It is an interesting dude, man.
Yeah.
You know? He's like one of the last known, like, true rock and rollers left.
Yeah?
You know, just... like not like these guys who are like, let me go get my whole body tattooed in 1 month. And, put on eyeliner and, like, auto-tune my voice and be in some shit band. Like, he's, like, truly, like, a guy, like, from the 70s who just, like, walks around with a guitar and just, like, hey, I got a riff, you know, doesn't even know how to use, like, email well. Like, he's just truly a rocker. You know what I mean? Like, he is a rocker till the day he dies. It's just full on.
How did you guys meet?
Well, the Mastodon guys and us have been kind of buddies forever. We were on Relapse Records together on the same record label.
Yeah. That's nice.
We toured together very, very early on in both of our careers. You know, before Mastodon, Bill and Braun were in this band Today's the Day.
Yeah.
Who I was a big fan of, and you know, we're also on Relapse Records, the record label that we spent most of our career on. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's just a long history with those guys.
Did their fans instantly like you guys, and did your fans like them? Or was it kind of a thing?
Oh. Well, interestingly enough, like, back in the day, we took Mastodon on tour.
That's
They
fun.
were our opening act.
That's cool.
Many years ago, yeah. We were big fans, and we loved the guys. And, so, yeah. And then they did really well. And so, I think there's definitely, like, a crossover.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing about Mastodon, the thing that's great about Mastodon, and I think what's contributed to a lot of their success is, like, they write music that's accessible to the common white trash metalhead, but is also, for somebody who wants more, really artistically relevant and really interesting and really unique. So it's like, it's this band that's, like, tricking people, you know? It's like, it's like, we're actually really artistic and awesome, but, like, if you're just some, like, metalhead who doesn't care, who just wants to drink beer and, like, headbang, you're gonna like this too. You know what I mean? And that's what I think is, like, so great about them. They
like a secret lesson.
Ability. Yeah, you know, they're amazingly band. They write amazing songs, and they're really an interesting band and unique sounding band. But they also have the ability to kind of attract the, you know,
yes. Yeah. The masses. Which is nice. It's nice to have, like, warm bodies into it.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing. Who's the ringleader when you make music? Like, how did kind of Juliette Lewis come into it? I think it's kind of funny that, like, Mallory Knox is kind of a rock and roll muse character. Like, it's kind of, she feels like a girl from songs.
She's actually not our main singer in the band. She does. Oh,
she just kind of pops by.
Yeah, like, everybody kind of, like, takes an Instagram picture and starts creating their own press around it. But me and her have been working on songs, some of which are for Giraffe Tongue, some of which were just jams that we were working on or whatever. And she did some cool vocals on some of the GTO stuff. But actually, William from Alice in Chains is who's been singing with us.
Yay! He's so good, man. I'm an Alice in Chains freak. I love Alice in Chains. I was really not ready. I was like, oh, how could this band even possibly continue? And then I saw them at the ML Theatre, and he was so fucking good, and he was so alive, and just, like, this fucking lion of, like, that's kind of the easiest way for me to describe it, because there was something really lost about Lane at the end, and, you know, drugs are fucked. They just are. Uh-huh. You know, they're not good for anyone artistically. And, like, obviously he was really gifted and stuff. I've just gone on a rant, but feel free to talk now.
I felt the same way because, you know, I first saw Alice in Chains come back on Soundwave that we were playing.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
Like, you know, it's like, I remember it, like, everyone was skeptical, you know, like, and the sun was going down. I remember the sun was setting. But
Yeah.
I think we had played, and then like, you know, Bloodhound Gang went on and probably threw up in someone's mouth. And then Alice in Chains went on, and I saw like the sun was setting, and like it was like, okay, here comes this guy trying to sing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alice in Chains, see. And they kicked into like Wood or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good crowd pleaser.
You just got chills, man. You just got chills. Like the hair on your arms stood up. You know, it was like, whoa, this is awesome. You know?
Yeah. And because
I'm a good friend, and he is like a true craftsman of his art. Like he takes singing so seriously. I mean, that motherfucker. Talk about not like being a drug addict and stuff like that. That guy he doesn't talk before shows. He sits and drinks tea for like 2 hours.
That is so pure. I like it.
Warms up for like I mean, this guy takes it so seriously, and that's so refreshing coming from like, you know, the world I come from, where dudes are just running around playing on tour buses and screaming and not giving a fuck about their voice.
Well, it's like it's an instrument, like for real, you know? It's an instrument. If you don't practice, if you don't learn technique, like, it's like I think anyone can sing if you really want to be dedicated about it, and most people aren't. Most people are pretty lazy, inherently lazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and most people phone it in, and so that's really cool. I think it's really interesting you've kind of said they're both, that Brent is like this rock and roller and he's like this kind of craftsman singer. Like, I had this sudden vision of you guys all making a boat. Like, you guys should all get together and like craft a boat or something, you know? Like a wooden boat.
I think that's kind of what GTO is.
Yeah.
We've created a weird...
With like
weird
nails.
Art, you know?
Yeah, with all the animals.
Like
cool.
Weird art with the you know, with all these little elements of our bands, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe survive through GTO, I don't know.
That's pretty fun. How does this one work? Like, is William more involved earlier than, say, like Greg is in Dillinger? Is it different?
Well, most of the music was written before he got involved.
Okay.
So it is a similar thing, actually. Mm. But, you know, everybody definitely, in this band, it's a real democracy.
Yeah.
And,
for real.
You know, yeah, so, I mean, it's a little different for me. It's been great because Dillinger's obviously been my baby since the beginning, and, you know, while everyone contributes, it's always been, you know, it was my vision and baby, you know, so, but with GTO, it's really, you know, it's really a combination of all the elements, all the pieces, and so it's really interesting. It's been great for me to collaborate like that, and I think when you hear it, it really does sound like all of us in one band somehow, you know? Does
it have, like, colours or, like, a vibe? Is it, like, kind of happy or...
man, I hate those questions.
I know! But I'm trying to think. I'm like, how can I ask a meaningful question about music? How do you even talk about a song?
I don't do drugs.
I know, neither do I.
I can answer these questions.
I don't do drugs at all.
I'll put some shrooms real quick and I'll answer the question.
That'd be really funny. I think if once you've been sober for a long time, that would be kind of funny to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready, dude. I'm gonna do all the drugs.
You should just get back into it, you know? You've had a few decades off, like... Yeah. You should do, like, some Hunter S. Thompson shit. Like, just go and get, like, a bunch of mescaline and... Yeah.
When I get old, I'm definitely gonna do heroin.
Yeah, you really should. Like, when you're old. You should have, like, a heroin band.
Well, I don't do. I should. You know?
You should have a heroin band.
A heroin band?
Yeah, you just hang out and do heroin. Make songs about heroin.
I will say that for me it was interesting because I started the process of this record in a really dark place.
Yeah?
And I was cluttered with it. And I had no idea I was almost in autopilot in the beginning. So just writing ideas, and I didn't even know if they were good. I didn't know if they were right. It was just it was interesting to start the process like that.
Yeah.
And then things started clearing up for me, and I started getting in a better place. I started to be able to look at it more, I don't know, from different eyes. And
gently?
And find what?
Like gently? I feel like when you're in a dark place, you're kind of like, fuck, this idea sucks. And
more depressed, you know, not like mad or not like, more just like numb, you know, not knowing if what I'm doing, if it's good.
Yeah.
Or if it feels right. Because I guess more from like a very dull place, very numb place. So it's like I didn't know if it was having the right effect that it should have. Then as things started to change, and because we continuously work on these songs, we don't just like finish a song and put it down. Like we keep going back and revisiting.
Yeah.
All these different stages of me going through this stuff has shown itself in the music.
That's cool.
In each song, like in itself. So
like each layer.
Looking back,
yeah,
I could definitely kind of hear all the different stages in the music. So yeah, to me, it's very colorful.
When are you guys going to put that out and stuff?
We're going to record in mid-February next month. We start.
Cool.
And then probably be coming out late summer.
Oh, cool. So is it like musical therapy a bit?
Well, like I'm the type of person that, some people need to be in a dark place to write dark music. I write crazy dark music happy.
Yeah.
Energize and pump. And so I know I'm in a good place when I start to really feel energy from music. When I'm writing and I'm listening back and I want to like run through a wall, I'm so excited. I just want to like literally, and I'm at that point now where I just want to like run. When I listen to these songs, I just want to destroy, break everything.
That's
and
great.
That tells me I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
Yay. It tells me the songs are in a good place.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty, when you know what you know, that thing that makes you happier than anything else, and you do it, it's pretty good. Like, I can't know what music is, but I know what it's like when I like do a thing and you get the footage back and you're like, whoa, it really happened. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it's like when you see it come together and then all of a sudden...
It's really there. And then people like it and it's like, oh, cool. It's nice. Yeah. I think, like, I don't know. There is a whole... Not to kind of go back, like just to talk about like sort of sobriety and stuff, there's a few kind of musical people and creative people I've met over the years before I had decided to not like do anything or drink or smoke weed or anything like that. And I feel like kind of making stuff is kind of a drug, and it's a better drug than other things. Like it's kind of, and I think you can kind of hear kind of inspiration better. Like, I think a lot of people... Like, I come from a country that has a really intense drinking culture. So
yeah, definitely.
When did you ever get drunk? Or did you kind of just...
I have, when I was 15.
Yeah? That was the last time?
Yeah.
And then you just went...
Sorry?
That was the last time? Ever?
That was it. That's the last time.
That is really funny. What made you decide never to do it again?
It wasn't like some big thing. Everyone's like, are you a recovering alcoholic, or did you have alcoholic parents, or none of that is the case.
Yeah.
I just it was interesting because I was just like a typical metalhead, and there was no such thing when I was young. Like I didn't know about straight edge, or I didn't know there was a culture around not drinking or doing drugs or anything like that. I just decided, I'm very stubborn, and I just made a decision. When I make a decision, I kind of stick to it, for better or for worse. So I just always said, I did it, it was fine, and then I was done. And I was also very sensitive to, like, peer pressure. Like, I always felt like no one's going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want. And at that time, with the kind of people I hung out with, I was just a straight up metalhead. I had long hair, I was just wearing like metal shirts to school. I was hanging out with kids who were just kind of skipping class and smoking, and everyone expected me to be that guy. Even the teachers sometimes would call my mom and tell her that I was on drugs or drinking because I'd just be sleeping in class and stuff. But that was only because I was up all night listening and working on music, and so I just never wanted to fall into some stereotype. I guess I was always sensitive to that. I don't want to be what you think I'm supposed to be, And so yeah, I just never decided on doing it.
Well, it's a good thing.
I also have a very addictive personality, so like I smoked cigarettes back in the day when I was a kid. And the day that I felt like I was getting addicted, I stopped and I never did it again.
That's actually really good.
So, but yeah, it's just...
It makes more room in your life to make stuff, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't waste a lot of money on alcohol and drugs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of debates about, alcohol being good for relaxing you or making you have a good time, and marijuanas and, those, and, hallucinogens, especially as far as, like, their role in creativity and things like that.
What do you think?
And so that's something I face a lot, like people kind of debating with me whether or not those things would be good for me, actually, not bad for me.
Well, yeah, I remember we spoke about this with Greg ages ago, because he was, like, more into that kind of, that, like, partying and, like, being creative through that, like the Hunter S. Thompson school of thought of kind of getting into that place of,
Right.
Do you guys still do you debate a lot of things?
No, I think we just live our lives and respect it. I think in the past that my only issue was, like, kind of, like, glorifying some of that stuff as part of the Dillinger way.
Experience.
But, and but he's gone through all kinds of stages.
Yeah.
I've known him since he was so young. And I've seen him go through all kinds of stages of development. And, at the end of the day, whatever his journey was, I mean, he's in a great place,
That's awesome.
And he's, like, so lucky to be able to create with him.
He's really talented. He's got, like, he's got force,
Yeah, he's really talented. And, so whatever that journey was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm not hating on it or anything. I don't want that to sound like salacious or anything. Just kind of
but yeah, I think the issue I've had is always like people trying to convince me that I would be better off if I would do stuff like that. That's always funny to me. But I mean, I guess people feel their way is the right way. That's typically how it goes,
And that's that, like, self-confirming thing of, like, if you say, like, for example, this is good, you're going to look for all the reasons why this is good, and you're not going to see the shit that doesn't prove your theory. Like, that whole thing of, like, people would rather be right than happy. Yeah.
That's a good saying.
It's, people get kind of thing. But what do you think of the Black Queen? That,
I love
project?
it.
I think it's really cool. Like, I was, like, surprised. I'm like, wow, this is like Depeche Mode or something. Like, bits of it.
It's funny, everybody brings up the Depeche Mode thing.
Really? Is that a thing? I didn't mean to be a gaylord.
I do have to say that I feel like I am the person who maybe opened the Depeche Mode door for Greg, because Depeche Mode is like my favorite band in my whole life. It was my first...
For real?
First concert. Yeah, like, I went to see, like, the Violator tour.
Awesome.
I was, like... Depeche Mode in my blood. That's all I cared about when I was a kid. Like Depeche Mode. Like, and I always loved it. And it wasn't until a little more recently that Greg discovered it.
Oh wow!
And
that's cool.
And then when he did, he was obsessed with it. Like, he was buying Depeche Mode magazines and stuff, and he was giving them to me. And I'm like, oh, cool. It was like a bonding. It was a real bonding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was real bonding. But I mean, obviously, he's been into a lot of diverse, music and melodic music and stuff like that. But Depeche Mode particularly is something that I hear a lot of people kind of bring up with the Black Queen stuff. So
I didn't even know everyone was saying it. I feel, it's fine. It's funny, like Depeche Mode, like they had all those albums where they're just like Flowers or whatever the fuck. I had a friend when I was like 16, 17 and lent me 400 CDs and a whole bunch of them were Depeche Mode, and it was like, it was interesting. It was kind of different to what I was listening to, and it's got, I don't know, melodic and kind of dark, I guess.
Yeah, what were you listening to?
I don't know. I was listening to a lot of, I had like a lot of goth friends who wanted to pretend they were listening to Bauhaus, but like they were listening to, lame things. I had a friend who had a wall of Trent Reznor. She had like an entire wall of like different Trent Reznor posters, which he's got a lot of detail. Like, I really liked him and David Fincher and Atticus Ross. I think they all together, like, I'm a really huge fan of David Fincher. because you can watch those movies and I don't pick apart the shots. You're like, oh, everything about this is right. Like the light tone and the way you moved it. And I think I feel the same about Trent Reznor, that it's always in its right place. Like how you guys climbed the Harbour Bridge, didn't you? Random thing. Yeah. What was that like?
That was surreal. You know, it's like I'm sitting here doing two amazing things. I'm on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, looking at an amazing view, and then also turning next to me is like, you know, one of my favorite artists, like hanging out, you know, wearing a rain jacket, you know.
It's so goth.
It was very goth. It was like thundering.
Yeah.
And the Prince of Darkness was next to me.
And he whispered in your ear and handed you a chalice, a poison chalice.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's a real sweet guy, and I think that he's really interesting, and he's really, you know, I think that he just wants to experience everything, you know, and he's been through so many things creatively and artistically and business-wise. It's like, he's just someone who seems to always keep going, keep learning, and keep trying new things. It's really inspiring. So it was cool to kind of just be in that setting and like kind of talk to him and stuff. So.
Because it's, I can imagine like sitting on top of a bridge is a certain kind of environment, like for deep conversation, you know. You're not going to, well, I mean, you could talk about the weather. That would also be relevant. Yeah. Like, you can be like high-low art kind of.
Totally.
It was like, I was thinking about it the other day, actually today, about how like similar the trajectory is for a lot of bands initially. Like, you kind of be playing music, then you find some people to play with, and then you play some shows, and then you play bigger shows, and then you make one album, you make a couple of albums that are kind of the same, and people like them both, and then you make some album everyone doesn't really get, and, you know, it's I don't know, and I feel like the interesting, like the change, I'm not to like generalize, but I am kind of generalizing, but the interesting part happens next, and like how you deal with it once you're past the like new car feeling with people, and how do you kind of stay with them? I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you want to do? What's your
I mean, I think there really are. I think there really are. You can really look at the trajectory of successful artists and kind of see where the dots had connected along the way. Like this happened, then this happened, this happened, and I think that stuff's really interesting. And you see some parallels often, I think, because people are people. That's a Depeche Mode. I think that the most interesting thing is sometimes, you know, accepting the now, being excited for the future, and reflecting on the past, you know?
Yeah.
It's like what I do every day, and it always blows my mind. You know, all of it blows my mind, you know?
Well, just being here, I think, like, the whole now thing is pretty important, because then you don't miss stuff. I know I've been kind of thinking about lately, like, just not holding on tight to things. Like, kind of being like, hey, you're here, and, like, not people necessarily, but, like, stuff, like, not getting attached to things. This has to turn out this way. Like, hey, look how this is happening. And I feel like life gets better that way when you start going, cool. Like, were you looking for something, like, with this Giraffe Tongue Orchestra thing? Like, did like, Brent call you up and say, hey, dude, do you want to, like, get out of your house and, like, make a thing? Or, you know, do you go out actively seeking this stuff, or?
You know, I actually have to give credit, partly, to Atticus Ross, who is
I love Atticus Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, I've been talking to him a lot. I've been friends with him for a long time, and I was asking his advice. I'm like, you know, I want to get out of just doing Dillinger thing. You know, like, you know, do you have any advice? Do you have anyone who wants to do a project? Do you want to do a project? Whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, you gotta stop just waiting for someone. He's like, don't wait for someone to come to you and be like, I want to collaborate. Just do it. Just start. Just do it. Just go do it. Just talk to any, you know, grab people and make a band.
That's
like,
cool.
That's how you expand on your, you know, if you want to just keep doing Dillinger and you want, nobody's going to come here and put it in your lap. Like, just
Here's the thing, Ben. Here's your new band. Yeah, it just arrives.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I was talking with Brent, and we had always discussed jamming. So I was like, yeah, let's mess around. And then, like, he's like, hey, my buddy, this drummer's cool. I'm like, all right, let's check that out, and blah, blah, blah. And then we just did it, and it wasn't even about the final product. It was about just doing it. And that's why there's been no rush to put it out, honestly, because it's like, it's been a process. There's been many band members based on, different availabilities, or if things, mesh, like, if it's a good match or not, or whatever. And so we're not, it's, and now it's, like, finally just about done, and it's going to come out this year. So it's been a really cool process.
That's kind of cool, because you basically just said that that was actually the same way Dillinger happened, where you're not looking for an outcome, you just started playing music. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Well, it'll probably be good then, won't it?
That's the only way it only works for me that way.
Yeah. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know, just the whole alchemy of what other people bring out of each other. Like, I watched that, I really dug when Trent and Atticus and David Fincher worked together, and the editing team and the cinematographer. I think that whole team is really interesting. Yeah. They've been tight for, they've worked on a whole series of films together, and then they kind of came into it. And just watching him be like, Trent comes in and noodles and does shit, and then Atticus kind of laid it out, there's something really fucking magical about that shit. Yeah. I don't know. Who's been sort of surprising, people who've really surprised you when in that space? Because you've done a lot of collaborating, over time.
Somebody who's blown my mind from day one, but always surprises me is Kimbra.
I was just thinking about asking about that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she lives in New York, and we're very close, and we work together a lot.
Awesome.
Creative things, business things, and she's genius.
Awesome.
She's a fucking genius, and she's a great person, and so it's been really interesting to just follow her journey a little bit and see personally where she's gone and how much she's grown, and also creatively. But yeah, she's someone who blows my mind every time she presses a keyboard or picks up a guitar or opens her mouth or
That's awesome.
So she's yeah.
How did you guys meet?
I mean, she sits there. She will sit there and tell me all the time signatures in a Sugar record.
That's awesome.
You guys know her as this pop chick who's goatee and is in makeup ads over there and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I know her as someone who sent me back a beatbox version of one of my songs. Just for fun. She beatboxed Prancer for a record and sent it back to me.
That's epic.
Fun. So.
How did you guys meet?
So I was actually in Australia on tour, and someone was like, check out this Gautier guy. He's doing some interesting things, with sound design and songwriting. And so you go down to the YouTube rabbit hole, and nobody knew who he was in America at all yet.
Yeah. And then he had that one big song.
Right. So, and that song was out in Australia and stuff, well before it was out in the States and was popular. So I think I looked at that video and then was like, who's this chick, So then I looked her up and then went down her thing, and then I saw her videos. I was like, wow, this is really interesting pop music. And then I saw her videos doing just a cappella stuff, and I was really impressed with it. And then I just was kind of playing her for all my friends. Check out this chick. She's really special, I think.
That's awesome.
And simultaneously to me playing her video to somebody, she tweeted about Dillinger. She was like, I saw Dillinger, it was awesome, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? It was real synergistic.
That's
same
fucking
exact time.
cool.
I was playing her video, boom, I see our Twitter handler pop up in Kimbra's thing. And then we, kind of had some mutual acquaintances, and we ended up chatting, and she was a huge Dillinger fan. Turned out that her band used to be in a Dillinger kind of in New Zealand where she was from.
Yeah.
There's one band that's kind of Dillinger-y that was influenced by Dillinger and played that kind of music. And would go see that band all the time, and like was into all like Mars Volta, Dillinger, Meshuggah, Botch. Like she loved all that music.
Awesome.
And she said it was kind of influential on some of her complex type of layering and stuff like that. And so she ended up taking that mathcore band and making that her backing band.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. The band that she has now used to be in like a mathcore band in New Zealand, playing like Dillinger stuff, and that's her band now. Like that's who plays with her.
Well, I guess if it's interesting enough, yeah, that's awesome. Have you made something that's gonna like come out at some point?
We have all kinds of stuff laying around, you know. Again, will it ever come out? I don't know.
You could make like a mixtape and just leave it places.
Yeah.
Why not? Bring back the tape.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But it's been fun. It's been cool to like help her, and I've been consulting with her on business stuff and helping her kind of find her way. So
yeah, she's a really interesting artist. It's good. Yeah, it's good to have. There's some interesting people making pop music. What's pop music you like?
The website that I run, Party Smasher Inc. We just put out a top music of 2015.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of those records are on my top, but like I guess one of the ones that one of my picks was the Kendrick Lamar record.
That was really good.
It's not really a pop record, but it's popular music.
It's well crafted songs. Yeah,
it's well crafted songs, and he's a popular radio guy, I guess, artist in some respects. But hip hop artist, but I just think it's an amazing record. So. Yeah.
Well, there's these kind of people coming out and just, delivering things. I actually have questions about Party Smasher here that I just realized I have not asked. What? Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
What? Like when we got there eventually, it came up. Yeah. So what's your kind of vision for that? Like, how do you want to see it evolve like this year and stuff? And what, Elliot's cool. I think it's a cool idea, like what you're doing, and yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just really like DIY, It's like, it's not like we have all these high quality videos, and it's not like, but it's like, I'm friendly, as we've talked about, with all these inspirational people that I met along the way, and it's been nice to be able to just like sit and talk with some of them and just get their perspective, mostly on the question I think that I want to ask everybody is like, just why do you do what you do? And that's a lot of what we've been talking about.
Yeah, how it's done.
How it's done, right? Yeah. And I think it's just more about like inspiring creatives by showing them people who took alternative routes, and maybe they're massive stars, but there's no right or wrong way of doing things. That's I think the bottom line, and there's only doing it your way.
Yeah.
And people who do it their way are the ones that create something interesting and are the ones that won't just be another song on a playlist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's really, Sorry.
That's pretty much the first, that's kind of like what the site is now. It's just kind of interviews and articles about kind of the DIY, not do it yourself necessarily, but decide it yourself.
Yes.
Kind of mentality.
Oh, I like deciding yourself. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've just done about 20 interviews. I'm doing something similar where it's just with crew. So we did like Guy Sykes, tour manager, he's out with Deantwood and Volbeat now, was with Pantera for 25 years. Oh, wait, maybe not 25 years, however long Pantera were around.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, but he had all these amazing stories, and, like the entire like American road industry shared that article because no one talks to these people. We just did like Gloria Cavalera, fantastic interview. She was like, their kid's first word was a drum beat. Yeah. Good times.
Awesome.